My name is Leora Harrow, 34, legal director at a growth equity firm in downtown Chicago. My job is to catch liars before they sign. I thought I was good at it. Marin was slicing into a blood-red fillet when my father asked the question. So, how's the new BMW treating you? My fork froze midair. Excuse me. I blinked. What BMW? Silence. Sharp and surgical. My stepmother dropped her wine glass on cue. Just enough clink to mask the static of tension. Marin didn't miss a beat. Didn't you mention you changed your address? DMV stuff? Maybe it got redirected. Redirected. Like my trust fund. Like every conversation that involved her. My father frowned. I wired the payment weeks ago. Sign the title in your name. He turned to Dahlia. You didn't mention anything. She sipped her wine. I thought she got it. I mean, didn't you? I didn't, and I knew the look in their eyes. I was being handled. Marin laughed. Maybe someone's being mysterious, hiding gifts like Easter eggs. Her teeth were perfect, too white. I swallowed down the rage. I'd learned years ago not to erupt in front of them, but something itched in my chest. Familiar. Cold. After dinner, I stepped into the hallway, phone in hand, fingers moving on autopilot. Password. Gmail. Search. BMW 840i. Title transfer confirmed. The email header blinked at me like a threat. Name, Leora Harrow. Registered address, 1275 La Cienega Boulevard, Unit 4D, Los Angeles, California. Marin's address. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. No message. Just static. Then a click. I locked my screen. You ever notice how people with nothing to prove don't overshare? Zeke used to say that. He was right. Marin shared everything, except when it mattered. I kept walking down Lakeshore Drive. Wind knifed across the concrete. I didn't notice the cold. Back at my condo, I tried to push it down. The weird dinner, the address, the email. But instincts don't sleep. I logged into the DMV site, entered my name, DL number. A warning popped up. Your vehicle ownership status has recently changed. Please verify your mailing address. I checked the insurance database. My social had been used to apply for a luxury vehicle policy. Someone forged my ID. The policy matched Marin's zip code. 3 minutes later, another email hit. New policy generated. Power of attorney form A. 115 activated. Activated? I hadn't signed anything. The phone buzzed again. Same number. No voicemail. I turned off the lights, sat in silence, watched my reflection in the window ripple as the city lights bled through. You don't run from this. I reopened my old, encrypted drive, searched for signature records, found an archived legal document from 2 years ago, power of attorney draft I declined to sign. On this new file, the signature was mine, exactly mine, down to the pressured loop on the H. No notary stamp, but someone had scanned my signature and placed it perfectly. Not casual forgery, professional work. I stood up too fast. The chair scraped. A cold drop of sweat ran down my back. How many documents had I signed without knowing? I checked the drawer. My passport still there. Birth certificate. Bank, USB. Everything in place. Except that BMW. Everything you own is a weapon or a liability. Depends on who's holding it. I opened my windows. Needed air. Instead, I got noise, tires screeching a block away. A horn. Then silence again. I pulled my hair back. Locked every door. It wasn't just about the car. Someone was staging something much bigger. A line from a court case resurfaced in my mind. The most effective identity thefts don't steal your credit. They steal your life. That night, I barely slept. At 4:22 a.m., my inbox pinged again. Your BMW is due for its first service check. There was a location listed. Beverly Hills. Someone forged my name, and they knew I wouldn't notice until now. The DMV opened at 8 a.m. sharp. I was outside by 7:53. A line had already formed. 2 people ahead, one with a stroller, one with a cigarette. I stared straight ahead, not blinking, not thinking. When the glass doors clicked open, I walked in like I had something to prove. The clerk wore cat-eye glasses and a bored expression. "What can I help you with?" "I need to verify a vehicle title transfer. Under my name." She typed, nails like claws. Click, click, pause. BMW 840i, registered last Thursday. Address listed is Her head tilted. Los Angeles. That's not my address. She blinked, finally meeting my eyes. "Can I see your ID?" I handed it over. She scanned it. Looks like it was used in person. Signature verified. Insurance matched. Everything checks out. No, it doesn't. My voice dropped. Someone used a fake ID. With my name, my number, my signature. "Ma'am, it was verified by a notary." "What notary?" She turned the screen, showed me a PDF with a notary stamp. Marin's Building, California State. I didn't recognize the notary's name, but the signature was mine, exactly mine. Loop on the L, curve on the R. No flow. "People think identity theft is about stealing credit," I muttered. "But if they can steal your signature, they can take your life." The clerk frowned. "Do you want to file a fraud report?" "No," I said. "I want to find out what else she signed." Cut scene. Zeke met me outside a sandwich shop on Belmont. He looked like he hadn't slept, which for Zeke was normal. Still playing the girl who doesn't ask questions, huh? "She signed something, Zeke. Power of attorney. I didn't authorize it." He sipped black coffee. "No sugar. No lead. You think Marin just wanted a car?" "She got into the family trust." His eyes narrowed. "Howard's?" I nodded. "Through me." He pulled out his phone, scrolled through encrypted files. "You know what's funny?" he said. "I checked the trust activity. There's a draft document. 1 week ago. It's been deleted from the main record, but I pulled a cache." He handed me the screen. "A signature. Mine again. Authorizing Marin as co-trustee. Effective immediately." "That document was never executed," I said. "Not by me." "Doesn't matter. If someone sees it in your folder, they'll believe it." Zeke leaned in. "She's not stealing your assets. She's building legitimacy. A version of you that works for her." I swallowed. Hard. "What does she want?" "Control," he said simply. "Same reason dictators rewrite history books." Another cut. I confronted Marin at our father's house. She opened the door wearing a towel and an air of practiced surprise. "Leora," she smiled. "You didn't call." "You forged my signature." A beat. "No denial." No blink. She walked to the kitchen, poured 2 glasses of white wine. "I thought you'd be flattered. We've always said you have the best penmanship." "Don't joke." Her smile dropped. "You never cared about any of it," she said. "The trust, the assets, the legacy. You made it your identity to not want them. I just filled the space you left behind." "That's not consent. You think it's black and white." She stepped closer. "You know how many times Dad told me, 'Why can't you be more like Leora?' So I became you, the efficient one, the reliable one. He finally trusted me." I looked down. Her necklace, a silver key, glinted under the kitchen light. She noticed, tucked it under her shirt. "Go ahead," she said. "Call a lawyer. Let's see whose name's on more paperwork." I didn't say a word. I walked out, because sometimes silence is the loudest threat. Cut to black. Back home, I searched my cloud archives. Folder after folder of old trust documents. One subfolder flagged as modified. Date stamp last Thursday. Inside was a notarized file. A power of attorney. My name. Marin's access. This one was even worse. It included healthcare proxy. If something happened to my father, anything, Marin would have legal control. I pressed my thumb to the scanner, opened my encrypted vault, compared the signature line. Perfect match. Even the tilt on the final W in Harrow. Then it hit me. She had a scanned sample of my signature. From the firm. I'd signed dozens of scanned documents when onboarding clients. All PDF. If she pulled one, she could duplicate it on anything. I called Zeke. She's got power of attorney. Health. Financial. All forged with digital overlays. He exhaled. Then you're already late. The window behind me darkened. A car pulled up. Lights on. Engine idling. Didn't move. Didn't honk. Just watched. I backed away from the glass. If she forged that, I whispered, what else did she take? The car outside didn't move. I stayed crouched near the window, lights off, breathing shallow. The engine purred. Headlights cut into the dark like a silent accusation. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. The car pulled away. I didn't follow, because I already knew. They weren't here to talk. First thing next morning, I called the bank that held the Harrow Family Trust. I didn't go through the online portal. I called the branch directly. Used the internal number I'd saved for emergencies. This is Leora Harrow, I said. There's been unauthorized access to the Harrow Revocable Trust. The manager's voice shifted, polite but tight. Ms. Harrow, we've received updated credentials. Your access level was changed last Thursday. I didn't authorize that. Then you'll need to come in to initiate a fraud investigation. I ended the call. Cut scene. The branch was a fortress. White walls. Glass offices. No clocks. A bank where no one hurried, but no one hesitated. They brought out the document. A consent form. Signature perfect. Authorized change of trustee privileges. Transferred control to Marin A. Harrow, co-trustee. Full permissions. I signed the fraud affidavit. My hand shook. The manager glanced at me. This kind of thing usually happens with strangers, not family. I didn't answer, because blood doesn't make someone safe. I returned home. Front door was ajar. The world slowed. 1 step. 2. My hands were empty. Phone back pocket, keys curled in a fist. Inside, everything looked untouched. Until I hit the living room. Laptop? Gone. External drive? Gone. Files I kept in a locked cabinet. Birth certificate, client archive. A copy of my father's living will scattered across the floor. Drawers open. And on the fridge, a sticky note. Stop digging, or you'll bury yourself. I stood frozen. My chest felt tight, like my ribs didn't belong to me anymore. Then I ran. Detective Lindsay Kovac hadn't changed. Same blunt-cut hair, same steel blue eyes that scanned you like a barcode. She met me at a diner off Lakeview. Her badge was clipped to her belt. Her coffee was black. Marin's name rings a bell, she said. Last time it was a check-kiting scheme, tied to a fundraiser. Daddy swept it under. She's smarter now, I said. Less paper. More power of attorney. I handed her the sticky note. She read it once, then slid it into an evidence bag without comment. She's not just forging signatures anymore, I said. She's constructing an entire alternate identity. Mine. She's not doing this alone. That landed hard. I know, I whispered. You have digital evidence. Some. But she wiped my laptop. Back up. I've got partials. Zeke's digging. Kovac paused. Leora, this kind of operation, it's not about a car. It's not even about the trust. Then what is it? She leaned in. She's building something. A structure. Your name is just scaffolding. Cut. I drove to my father's townhouse that night. The gate was open. Unusual. The porch light was on, but the curtains were drawn. I called his name as I entered. Silence. My feet made no sound on the hardwood. The smell of burnt toast lingered. Dishes still in the sink. Something cold dripped down my spine. I moved toward his office. The safe was open. Files missing. His passport. Trust deeds. Power of attorney folder gone. Dad. I called out again. Nothing. Then footsteps. From upstairs. I bolted up, heart pounding so loud it drowned everything else. At the top landing, I found him. Face down. Unmoving. One arm twisted under him. His glasses shattered beside the banister. I dropped to my knees. Dad! He groaned. Still breathing. I pulled my phone, called 911. Voice tight. Clipped. Yes, he's conscious but disoriented. Possible fall. No blood. He's 73. Yes, I'll stay on the line. Paramedics arrived in 6 minutes. The longest 6 minutes of my life. At the hospital, the doctor said it looked like a fall. No skull fracture. Possible concussion. Disorientation. Early signs of something deeper. Maybe more than just trauma. He's not fully coherent, the nurse told me. He keeps asking what year it is. A flicker of fear sparked in my chest. Because if he lost mental competency, Marin's forged documents wouldn't just give her access. They'd give her control. I called Zeke. She opened the safe, I said. She took everything. She's accelerating, he muttered. She's not waiting for permission anymore. I looked at my father through the glass window. He blinked at nothing. Marin didn't just want a car, I said slowly. She wants everything. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and burned coffee. Dad lay still. Monitors whispering numbers I didn't like. His eyes opened when I touched his hand, then drifted. He smiled at me too slow. Did you drive home? He asked. I'm here, I said. You're safe. He nodded, uncertain. The doctor pulled me aside. Mild concussion. Observation. Memory fog. No conclusions yet. Fog was all Marin needed. Cut. Zeke called from a moving car. Wind in the background. I traced the trust flows. They don't land in L.A. They bounce. Bounce where? Shells. Delaware to Luxembourg. Private wealth firm with a U.S. branch. Gala tonight. A gala. Public. Loud. Masks everywhere. I pictured Marin in silk. Smiling. Untouchable. Send me the invite list, I said. Leora. Send it. Silence. Then a ping. Cut. The dress fit like a lie. Black. Clean lines. I wore my hair the way Marin did. Loose, careless. Borrowed confidence is still armor. The ballroom glowed gold. Crystal. Laughter. Champagne flutes chimed like alarms. A string quartet softened the edges of a crime scene. I moved through the crowd. Names floated. Titles. A banker with a pin I recognized. The firm's crest. I waited for distraction. A donor speech. Applause. Cameras flash. I slid beside him. You look relieved, I said, Marin's cadence in my mouth. I was worried I'd miss the handoff. He smiled. Ms. Harrow. Always punctual. Always mistaken. He leaned in. The drive. As agreed. I felt a press into my palm. Small. Black. USB. Tell him we're accelerating, I said. The window's closing. His smile faltered. Understood. Cut. I exited into the parking garage. Heels clicked. The air went cold. Concrete swallowed the music. Footsteps echoed. Not mine. I didn't turn. Counted breaths. 1, 2, 3. A shadow crossed the ramp. Marin, a man's voice called. Calm. Too calm. I kept walking. The footsteps closed in. I pivoted fast, phone up, camera on. He stopped. Mid-40s. Expensive coat. Scar at the jawline. Wrong sister, I said. He smiled. You're early. I'm leaving. Don't. He glanced at the USB. That's not yours. It is now. He stepped closer. I smelled cologne and money. People think power is loud, he said. It's quiet. It moves when no one's watching. I backed toward my car. Keys ready. He let me go. Tell Marin, he said, that the architect prefers clean lines. Cut. I drove until the city blurred. Parked under an overpass. Plugged the USB into a burner laptop. Files bloomed. Flowcharts. Entities nested like dolls. Trust assets rerouted through funds with mirrored names. Compliance memos. Red flags stamped resolved. Zeke's message popped. Found something worse. I scrolled. A draft will. And signed. Unfiled. A clause buried deep. If Howard Harrow were deemed mentally incompetent, guardianship defaulted to Marin. Full control. Immediate. The date was recent. She wasn't waiting for him to die. She was waiting for him to forget. Cut. I returned to the hospital. Night shift. Fluorescent hum. Marin sat by Dad's bed, spooning gelatin with a tenderness I'd never seen. Leora, she said, bright. You made it. Dad's eyes flicked to mine. Confusion. Fear. Recognition struggling to surface. Who is this? He asked. My throat closed. I'm your daughter, I said softly. Marin's hand tightened on the spoon. He's tired. Am I? Dad frowned. I leaned in. Dad, do you remember the lake house? The blue canoe. A beat. His brow smoothed. You fell in. I smiled through the burn. I did. Marin stood. You're agitating him. I'm grounding him. She stepped closer. Smile gone. Careful, she whispered. You don't want to look unstable. A nurse approached. Visiting hours. Marin kissed Dad's cheek. Sleep. She passed me. Her perfume lingered. Victory and violets. Cut. Outside, Kovac waited by my car. Your gala friends, she said. One of them's a disbarred attorney. Financial crimes. Embezzlement. He vanished after sentencing. The architect. She nodded. He's back. I showed her the will. The flows. The guardianship clause. Her jaw set. This goes criminal. Elder abuse. Fraud. Conspiracy. Not yet, I said. She needs to sign. Kovac studied me. You're thinking like a trap. People reveal themselves when they think they've already won, I said. That's when you listen. A line from an old mentor surfaced. Trust is what you give before you verify. Control is what you take after you're betrayed. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text. You should stop pretending to be her. It won't save him. I looked up. The parking lot was empty. Wind rattled a loose sign. I turned around. It wasn't Marin. It was someone worse. Rain fell sideways. Hard. Sheets of it. I stood outside the AMC Wealth building, blazer soaked, heart dry. Zeke's voice buzzed in my ear from the earpiece. They're here. All of them. Room 314. Board vote in 10. My fingers flexed. I slipped past security, badge cloned. Elevator up. Fuss. Too fast. Floor 3. Carpet swallowed my steps. Through frosted glass, shadows moved. 7 seats. 1 empty. Marin's. She was late. I wasn't. Cut. Kovac's warning rang in my skull. She's preparing to assume legal conservatorship. That means everything. Not just the money. Inside the conference room, men in navy suits. A woman with silver hair. Eyes that didn't blink. Ms. Harrow once said, "You're not on the docket." I placed a thumb drive on the table. Cool. Heavy. You might want to change that. Screens flickered. Slides loaded. Paper trails. Authorizations. Signature overlay. False dates. Mirror accounts. Zeke's voice came through again. The offshore firm, Pharos. Guess who sits on the board? Not Marin. Not even your dad. It's Nolan Beaumont. That name chilled the blood. The architect. The man from the parking garage. Quiet power moves when no one watches. I clicked the next slide. A medical directive. Filed 3 days ago. Marked sealed. Declaring my father unfit. Who filed this? One board member asked. My jaw tightened. I didn't. Marin walked in then. Bone dry. Calm as glass. You're trespassing, she said. Security's on the way. No, I said. You are. And they're not. I turned the monitor. The will. The real will. Updated. Digitally time-stamped. Hidden inside Dad's encrypted drive. Zeke cracked it that morning. Full control goes to Leora Harrow if any attempt of misrepresentation or coercion is detected. Silence. Thick. Electric. Then Marin smiled. That will was revoked. No, I said. It was buried. Cut. She ran. Out the boardroom. Past the desk. Into the stairwell. I followed. Every floor we hit, I thought of Dad staring at a wall, asking what year it was. You don't get to rewrite someone else's memory, I shouted, even if they loved you more. Her voice echoed. You were always the spare. That hurt, but the truth's not always comfortable. Sometimes it carves. Cut. Zeke was waiting at the exit. 2 plainclothes agents behind him. Guardianship case is on hold, he said. Judge wants a full investigation. Medical, financial, legal. Marin didn't fight. Not visibly. But she looked at me like I'd stolen her identity. You think this is over, she said. No, I said. It's beginning. Cut. Back at the hospital, I found Dad in a recliner. Eyes alert. A nurse was reading to him. He turned when I entered. Leora. He remembered. I sat beside him. He reached out, took my hand. They tried to move me yesterday, he said, to a facility. Marin said it was time. My breath caught. She said I'd signed the papers. You didn't. He looked at me. You were always quiet, but you listened. Sometimes silence is strategy. Sometimes it's survival. Either way, it saved him. And I wasn't done yet, because someone else had signed those papers. And they weren't done either. The architect always draws a backup plan. The hearing room was smaller than I expected. No marble, no drama, just fluorescent lights and a long table scarred by paperwork. This is where lives change, not with speeches but with signatures. Marin sat across from me. Perfect posture, pale lips. The architect's confidence was gone. She kept glancing at the door. I didn't, because the door wasn't coming for me. Proceed, the judge said. Cut. The guardianship petition was first. Filed in good faith, they said. Emergency. Temporary. Necessary. I slid the binder forward. Medical evaluations. Time-stamped videos. Dad's lucid statements recorded with an independent clinician. Chain of custody intact. No coercion. No confusion. Your Honor, I said steady. This petition relies on documents forged under my name and authority, including a power of attorney I never signed. Marin's lawyer objected. Kovac stood, badge visible. We verified the forgery with state and federal agencies. Silence. The judge turned a page. Ms. Harrow, he said to Marin, did you authorize these filings? She hesitated, a fraction too long. I was acting in his best interest. I leaned in. You were acting in yours. Cut. The second binder landed harder. Financial flows. Shell companies. The Gala firm. The USB. The architect's fingerprints all over the routing. Fees disguised as compliance costs. A classic move. Quiet theft dressed as management. Zeke took the stand. Calm. Surgical. This clause, he said, pointing. triggers only upon misrepresentation. It was hidden, not revoked. The judge's pen stopped. Marin's breath hitched. Cut. Then the final piece. The signature. I held up 2 documents side by side. The forged power of attorney. A clean sample from my firm. Same pressure curve, I said. Same digital noise pattern. It wasn't traced. It was lifted. Marin stood. That's absurd. Kovac didn't raise her voice. We recovered the source file. From your cloud account. A beat. Then the cuffs. The sound was small. Final. Cut. Outside, the press gathered like weather. Cameras. Questions. Noise. I didn't stop. Because this wasn't about winning in public. It was about getting my father home. Cut. The hospital room was brighter that afternoon. Windows open. Sun on white sheets. Dad sat upright, glasses fixed, eyes sharp. They told me what you did, he said. I didn't do it alone. He smiled. You never needed to, he said. Took his hand. Felt the warmth. I'm sorry, he said. I should have seen it. You did, I said. You just trusted the wrong version of me. He squeezed my fingers. People confuse love with leniency. They're not the same. I nodded. Another truth earned the hard way. Cut. Weeks passed. Charges stacked. Fraud. Identity theft. Elder abuse. Conspiracy. The architect vanished, then resurfaced in a different jurisdiction. He always did like exits. The trust was restored. Locked down. Independent trustees. Safeguards layered like armor. The BMW was recovered from a Beverly Hills garage. I didn't keep it. I sold it. Donated the proceeds to a legal clinic that teaches seniors how to protect their names. Names matter. Cut. On my first quiet morning in months, I stood by the window. Coffee cooling. City breathing. A thought surfaced. One my mentor used to repeat when cases went dark. You don't win by taking power. You win by returning it to where it belongs. I hadn't taken anything. I'd taken my name back. Cut. Marin sent a letter from Holding. Short. Unsteady. She wrote that she'd always believed love was a limited resource. That she learned early to take before it ran out. I folded the letter. Didn't answer. Because forgiveness isn't access. Cut. I drove that afternoon. Not fast. Not far. The road was clear. For the first time in a long while, I didn't check the mirrors. I didn't need to. I wasn't invisible anymore. And I wasn't pretending to be anyone else. The future doesn't belong to the loudest voice in the room. It belongs to the one who keeps the truth intact when everything else is negotiable. I turned the corner and kept going.